WSBT television studios, and today is August the 3rd. No, it isn't either. August 1st. August 1st, 2009. This is the very first open house for WSBT. The first people in here was June of last year, when the radio sales department moved in, and little by little everybody moved over to the different departments, from radio to television and the internet. We're all here. So happy to have you here. Happy to have you. Keep watching TV 22, and we operate 5 radio stations. Let's give them a quick plug while we have a chance. WSBT News Talk 960, Sunny 101.5, Oldies 94.3, Cat Country 99.9, and also WHFB AM up in Benton Harbor. And we may own 3 more TV stations. We bought them, but they haven't been approved yet by the FCC. So we operate 3 television stations out of this building, in case you didn't hear some of the description earlier. And so we may have 3 more if it's approved by the FCC.
Behind me are 4 radio stations, Sunny 101, you guys know the drill, News Talk 960, so you'll be able to tour all of those. And then behind you are the 2 television stations, so you'll get a complete tour of the station, the production department, you'll be behind the scenes, like cool stuff like, you ever see the lottery numbers on TV? Well, somebody has to type those in. All the tickers, sports tickers, somebody has to type all that information in, so you get a behind the scenes of what people behind the scenes do. You'll be able to go into the newsroom and see how huge it is, and then you'll go into the studio and we'll take pictures of you in the studio. Ask any questions that you want during the tour. All the experts are there to help. The cool thing about the studio is that we have robotic cameras, and they move around, so check that out when we get in there. So enjoy the tour, and thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
And folks, if you didn't recognize her, this is Deborah Daniels, our top news anchor.
Oh, wow. And it's Bob Lutz. Bob Lutz. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening.
In this studio right here, this is the home of Sunny 101.5. This is where we do the Jack, Shelley, and Bruce show every Monday through Friday.
He's Jack and I'm Bruce.
Yeah.
We get here at 4 in the morning to do the show, which is why we look like this. Jack is only 23 years old.
This is tough radio, I'm telling you.
Sonny's older than that. Sonny is 25 years old this year.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
However, that 101.5, that started back in 1962 as WSBT FM. And
changed to WWJY and changed to Q102 for a while.
And then Sunny 101.5. So 25 years it's been Sunny. And we are very proud of this studio. It's all state-of-the-art. I don't care where you go in the country. Everything's computer, obviously. That's the way it is now. And in fact, this studio is so state-of-the-art, it's not even a real person behind the microphone. we bought him out of Walt Disneyland.
That's old animatronic.
Looks real, doesn't he? Yeah.
That's the old Abe Lincoln. We just took the beard off. Really, almost looks real. Now, we have another studio for you to see here.
Now, this would be our newer model right here. This is a 2010 model right there. But this is also the home of the oldest radio station in Indiana, WSBT AM 960. Went on the air in 1921.
In the basement of the South Bend Tribune,
yeah.
So they've come a long way since then.
1922, they aired the first commercial, Reese Furniture. I remember that name. JT would have been 4 doing the show, I think, then, right?
Yeah, it would have been about right. Yeah.
No, Bob Lux was there. I was. That's right, he was on the air too.
Was that for
That's right, yep.
Yep, that was moving up.
Okay.
Moving on.
So they're moving you on already,
Moving you on, so enjoy the rest of the tour, everybody.
And thanks for coming, too. We appreciate it. Very nice to see you folks.
This room over here is the master control room. The person that sits in there is the master control operator, and makes sure that the appropriate program is running at the appropriate time and that the appropriate commercial is running, or the commercial that's scheduled to run at the scheduled time. They take down all the information to keep a record on a log that is required by the FCC that we keep. So our CBS affiliate 22.1, our independent 22.2, and our weather channel 22.3 all come from this room. So everything that comes from, that you see go to the transmitter comes from this room. If you see a weather alert that goes across the screen, this master control operator will get an alarm, and he'll crawl, he or she will crawl, the appropriate information at the bottom of the screen. The transmitter controls are also in there, and they can turn on the tower lights, they can take readings that the transmitter is sending out, and they can monitor everything that's going on from that room. There are computers that play back the playlist that he's running. He just makes sure that everything is running appropriately and everything that's correct. So if he needs to jump in and change something, he can do that from where he's sitting. Wow! Off to your next spot. Thanks for coming in, and enjoy the rest of the tour.
Welcome to WSBT, if you haven't been told that already. I'm Lee. I produce one of our newscasts during the day. Then at 5 o'clock, I come in this room, what we call our production control room. This is where everything we do during a newscast,
Move down a little
that's
bit
where we
this way
control
so
it.
the folks
Come
in the
on,
back can see,
Can you
please.
scoot down a little bit more? Everything that you see during a newscast is controlled from these rooms. The very front room with all the monitors on the wall, that's where our director and technical director sit. They are the ones that control everything you see. They will push a button and you'll see Cindy Ward. They'll push another button and you'll see video of the president. They'll push another button and you'll see Rick Mecklenburg with his weather graphics. That's their job, to make sure you see what you're supposed to see at the right time. The back half of the room is where the producer sits and where the teleprompter operator sits. And you'll see on either side of the room, there's the screens with the words scrolling up them. That's the prompter. The teleprompter with the anchors read. You'll see more of that out in the studio, but that's exactly what they see in the studio when they're delivering you the newscast. The producer sits in here.
Attention, please move to the next station on the tour.
We've got a few seconds. The producer's job during a newscast is to make sure everything goes on like it's supposed to. If there's a problem, it's their job to prevent it. They can talk to the anchor through an earpiece called an IFB from sitting right in here. The anchors are in the studio. They push a button and talk to them. Talk to the production staff to make sure they know what's going on. Our job is to make sure we give you the best newscast and there's no problems with it. That's what our goal is every day. You'll also notice everything in there, all the monitors, they're all high definition, because we do nothing any other way but high definition right now. That is the best quality. That's what we deliver to you every day. High definition digital television. All right, anybody have any questions? Yes, you can speed it up or slow it down. Yeah, it's just going slower because we want it to last as long as possible. That's essentially the last thing I'll point out real quick. The room is soundproof. If you're in there, you don't hear anything out here in this hallway. That way everybody in there focuses and they don't get distracted by extra noise out here. That's the way it was set up so we can do our jobs a little easier. All right. Thank you very much for coming in. We'll send you to your next station in the newsroom.
Wow, you guys are a big group. I apologize for the people in the front that I'm going to have to yell to get to the people in the back. My name's Tom. I work in the news department. I'm one of the photojournalists in the news department. There's 8 of us that work here full time. This is how I do my job every day. I raise it higher, but it weighs about 30 pounds, and just imagine how many times I've done this today. You know, lifting my workout for the afternoon. This is what we shoot on every day. It doesn't look like much. It's obviously not a tape because it's a DVD, essentially. All right, we stopped shooting on tapes when we moved in here last November. Tapes are great. They work for what they were. The problem was in news, sometimes you have one tape with all your video and 3 people need it. So you have to decide who gets the tape first and who needs it more importantly, essentially. Whose stuff has to air first, usually. Now what happens, I go out with this disc, I go out with a reporter, I come back, and way at the other end of the newsroom, there's 2 computers that their only job is to take whatever's on this disc and transfer it to a server. That's all they do, all day long. Once it's on that server, if you look in the windows and these doors along here, those are all edit bays. Once it's onto that server, all those edit bays have access to that video instantaneous. So instead of before we used to have 3 people sharing that one tape, you could have 8 people that need that video and they can all use it at the exact same time because it's on a server, which makes things that much quicker. Most of the time 3 people don't need it. Most people work on their own stories. Also, what it allows us to do is, there's quite a few cubicles here. Most reporters and producers and stuff work in the newsroom. They have to write their stories, which means they have to listen to the interviews that I shoot in the field, decide what part of the interview they want to use. To do that, they have a special software on their desktop. It's Google for all of our video. They open it up, they can do a keyword search, and it brings up all their video right there on their desktop. So instead of having to go into an edit bay and maybe that edit bay's needed to edit something, they can just sit at their desktop, listen to what the people are saying through headphones, and type it into a script right there at their computer. They can watch all the video if it's there, if they want to. It depends on what they need. So it makes our job a lot more efficient, a lot easier on me. I mean, the camera still weighs a lot, but there's not a whole lot we can do about that. Guys have any, while they're finished up, you guys have any questions for me?
Scott to the lobby. Scott to the lobby.
Let's go ahead and move. Saved by the bell. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brian's going to get a little more into the newsroom and who's what in the newsroom. There's more than just the TV station in the newsroom. So,
Tom, how much time can you put on one disc?
This holds about an hour. I don't know if you guys are computer savvy, but you know what gigabytes are on a computer. This holds 23 gigabytes, and that's only 1 hour of HD video. So imagine we have hours and hours and hours of video on our servers. We've got a whole room that's all they do is have servers in there. Just hours of video. The video quality is pretty impressive. When we first moved in here, we were all, got to play with the new toys and stick our video up on the HD screens. It was like, okay, just the details of people's tie, and then like normally in your shirts or with our old cameras, you'd just see a blur. You wouldn't be able. Now you'd be able to see the individual lines. You'd be able to make out all the detail, the buttons. I mean, I love it. Most reporters aren't a fan of it because if they have wrinkles, or maybe they have freckles, or maybe they didn't put their makeup on quite right, it shows up and it's obvious. So be nice to them if you see them in the field and say, "Man, I saw you the other day. You're looking rough."
Do you save all your video, or you record over that?
These we record over. The video only stays on here for maybe 2 or 3 days because we reuse them. If you can reuse them, why keep them? What we save is all of our video. There's a giant server. It's called a Diva. Well, I don't know who named it, but that's what it's called. The stuff that airs gets sent to that, and it stays there forever. I mean, and the whole plan is when we fill it up to get another one. When we fill that up, get another one. We used to archive everything on tape, and tapes only hold an hour. So you can imagine how many tapes we've built up. We still keep all of our tapes from back into the 80s that we have file video. Very rarely do we use it, but you never know. Old cases, court cases, stuff like that. So we hold on to it just in case.
Okay, folks, let's move this way. Thank you.
There's a big group. All right, folks, I'll try to project a bit and not overpower them. My name is Brian Sapp. I am the assignment editor. I work for WSBT TV. My job as assignment editor is to assign people. My job is to get reporters and photographers out on stories and make sure we cover what news we're able to with the staff that we have. This newsroom is big, but it seems empty now. But during the week when we have everybody here and it's about an hour to newscast, it's pretty busy. You got producers putting together their shows, reporters finishing up their scripts. You have photographers getting to the edit bays or back here in our main editing and cutting the video to get ready to air. And we also, one of the cool things about this newsroom is it's not just us TV people in here. We share it with WSBT Radio, their news people, and the South Bend Tribune has moved their Mishawaka office here. So we have 5 or 6 Mishawaka or South Bend Tribune reporters in here. It really allows us to spread out our coverage and be able to hit more than we could with just my TV reporters. I can rely on somebody from the Tribune. Tom Moore, Sue Lowe, they have their reporters right here, so if they're working on something, I'm able to ask them, or I can let the Tribune know if we have information that they might want to use for a story. The newsroom is built to encourage that communication across all of the employees. I sit up in the middle, but I'm able to turn around and ask Dustin, who sits over here, if he's
Attention. Please move to the next station on the tour.
If Dustin's working on a story, I'm able to turn around and ask him, and then turn around and tell somebody from the Tribune, hey, Dustin has this. Or Dustin can interact directly with somebody from that other organization. There's monitors all around the newsroom. We watch CBS, we watch CNN, we try to see what's going on nationally. We have websites up, we have weather up. And we do watch the competition just to make sure that they're not beating us, or I guess we try to watch them and see how bad we're beating them. But it's fun here, and it's nice to have a newsroom. This is at least twice as big as what we had downtown, so it's nice to be able to run this new building. Any questions as we're waiting for them to clear out? I'm sorry?
What did you guys
get? We get not as much as we would like to, but I mean, it depends. It really varies. You have the anchors who are, you know, they're the face of the TV station, so they get compensated well, and you have others who, you know, have less skills and are working up. So it's a wide variety.
My name is John Hefferkamp, and I'm the executive producer for WSBT TV. And first of all, thank you very much again. If I haven't seen you online already and said thank you, I appreciate you guys coming today. Quickly, we just have a couple minutes, as you know, at each station. I'm going to talk about what you're seeing right here. This is the heart of our newsroom. This is the assignment desk area, and it's also our 24/7 news desk. And when I say 24/7 news desk, what that means is that we have someone in this chair answering phones and listening to police scanners 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So our newsroom is never empty. So at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, if a fire breaks out or something, we hopefully know about it. We've got someone who's listening or answering phones, and we will cover the news the best that we can. This is also where all of the phone calls come into the newsroom. So if you have a story idea that you want to pass on to us, you can call, and that comes into here. And there's always somebody in this area that answers phones and to pass on their story ideas to reporters and to our photographers and to our staff. I think, as someone probably already mentioned to you in the newsroom, we've got radio staff in this newsroom. We have, of course, our TV news staff, and we have South Bend Tribune reporters that sit in here. So we've got a mix of all three, and it's certainly a collaborative effort when it comes to getting news tips and covering news stories, and we share a lot of information together, so hopefully we can cover as many stories as possible. Another thing that you see, if you look over your shoulders right here, this is our newsroom camera. And if you watch the news and you hear Deborah and Cindy refer to one of our reporters, Kelly Cheatham, Dustin Grove, Troy Kehoe is in the newsroom tonight. This is where they're at. And they stand, there's a couple stairs in fact, if one of the youngsters want to come over. You want to be on TV? Just step right up there. And look at that camera. If you look at that monitor right over there in the middle, that flat screen, you can see that's our newsroom. You can wave and smile and say hi to your girlfriend, all that right now. You're not,
I don't have one.
all right.
Okay, folks, let's go this way.
Got a boyfriend?
So, and that's you're going to the studio next, which is where you'll see the chroma key and all that stuff, and get to see the set. They're taking your pictures on the set too. So, that'll be fun. We appreciate you guys coming.
Cool, huh?
Crowded like right here too.
You're all going to see everything. Squeeze on back that way. Boy, we got a big group this time.
You can squeeze in a little bit more. There's room right here.
Okay, welcome to WSBT's High Definition TV studio. You're standing in front of the chroma key wall where Rick does his weather forecast 1 billion times a day. When you include all the Weather Channel hits, the internet hits, and newscast hits, this is where he does it. It's painted a special green color, and you can see here on the monitor that the green disappears, and we replace it with some video maps. Now, if Rick were to pull out his 1972 lime green suit, you would see he would disappear. So it's very important what color wardrobe he wears. In this studio we have 5 robotic cameras. They're all controlled from the control room that you just passed through. And what we're going to do here is we're going to have you guys take your pictures on the set. So I'm going to have you move up here, and they'll tell you how you can get those at home when you return. Thanks for coming.
This is the central nervous system of the station. This is what we call TET core.
Try and look through the window. You'll enjoy his talk a little bit more.
In here sits all of our servers. These servers house all of our audio and video content. So all of the programming you hear on the radio, that sits in here on servers. Any of the video that you see during the newscast or any of your favorite television programs sits on servers in here. All this equipment sits on a raised floor. Underneath that floor is about 170 to 175 miles worth of cable that starts here and disperses throughout the building. Excuse me. The room itself is always kept between 65 and 70 degrees year-round. Just to give you an idea on the reason behind that is the heat that all that equipment puts out. Just to give you an idea on how much heat's being put out, before we went on air here, we did a generator test and lost a primary air conditioner here. During that time, about a 10-minute span, the temperature jumped about 20 degrees. We do have a fire retardant system in this area rather than a sprinkler system. So if there is a fire that breaks out in the building, the equipment is salvageable rather than being destroyed by the water. There are actually kill switches at each exit from Tech Core, so if the alarm is sounded before the dispersal of that retardant, button can be pushed and held down until everyone is out, then the retardant's released. Excuse me, long day. And actually, if you are still in Tech Core after that retardant's released, then it's not lethal. The only thing you'll walk out of there, or hopefully the only thing you'll walk out of there with, is being lightheaded and maybe a little headache.
What's the worst? What's the worst thing?
Thanks everybody for coming.
Not get you out.
Okay, folks, this is the end of the tour. We're exiting the east side of the building. I don't know where you park, but if you parked on the west side, you'll have to go around the building. If you're having trouble walking, we'll have golf carts to help you. So Sally Brown is letting you know she's the Vice President, General Manager of the WSBT radio group stations, all 5 stations. She's right here on the left. So everybody from the chairman of the board has been here today to greet you, and we really appreciate you taking time to come on. And we hope you'll continue watching our stations and listening to radio. Thank you so much for joining us.